Welcome to Grapple FK, everyone. Again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please like the videos. We are covering Seungwoo Choi, the sting against Youssef, the Moroccan Devil Zalal. This is on the prelims of Volkov against Overeem. So let's get into this. Choi, very tall for this height, 6 foot. Zalal's tall as well, 5'10". Choi's got a reach advantage, 2.5 inches. And a leg reach advantage of 4 inches. Choi is predominantly a striker. Well, pretty much a striker, yeah. I think from the videos that I've seen, he's probably from a Muay Thai background. Possibly kickboxing or Muay Thai, one of the two. Zalal is a bit more well-rounded. He does have takedowns in his arsenal. I think he's from a kickboxing background, but his style doesn't look like kickboxing. His style is quite strange, his striking style. I think he's from a kickboxing style. But yeah, I think probably more well-rounded of the two. Definitely been more active recently. He's got a better record in the UFC. But straight away, what do you think about this, Andrew?
Let's focus on Zalal because I think most people will be honing on Zalal as the favourite just because of that better record. Yeah, I mean his main game is striking. He's got a very elusive kind of style. He'll dance around the outside and jump in and throw a jab, then get out of there, and that's much of his game. He's got nice kicks, but much of his striking game is just dancing around the edge, jumping in and jumping back out again.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a problem with his striking because he's got literally no counter striking. Which is a bit of a problem. He doesn't throw many combinations. And as soon as anyone pressures him or lands something on him, he just runs 5 paces backwards. There's no lateral movement. There's no slipping. There's no countering. That's it. That's not to mention there's no feints. It's not the most sophisticated striking in the world.
Yeah.
But given that this is his kind of thing, if you're going to dance around the outside, and make people chase you and then sort of pop in with the occasional jab, it kind of works. I mean, it worked against Peter Barrett, it worked against Jordan Griffin, who's a good fighter, and it worked against Austin Lingo. It didn't work against Ilia Topuria. And this is why I said to you before that his striking isn't that good. Because when he fought Ilia Topuria, he did his usual thing, dancing around the outside, then coming in with a jab. As soon as he did that, Ilia Topuria was just countering with the right hand.
We should mention Ilia Topuria is a top 25 fighter and definitely a prospect. So he looks serious.
Ilia Topuria, I think, is an excellent fighter.
Yeah. Yes. He looks serious. Yeah, but carry on.
So Zalal was popping into range, trying to get him with the jab, but Topuria was just hitting him before Zalal could land.
Yeah.
So against these higher level guys, I think he's been exposed a little bit. But in terms of what do you think of his? Well, first of all, is that an accurate assessment of his striking? And what do you think of his ground game?
I think that's pretty accurate. I think he's got I think he's got a good jab. I think he's got a good jab. He doesn't throw many combos, and his lateral movement is very good. He circles very well. He doesn't get tired. He's constantly moving, which is a problem for people.
That's a good constantly thing.
Moving.
Yeah,
exactly. He's just not in one place, and he doesn't run out of energy. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. He doesn't really throw many combos. I'm surprised to see that he actually outlanded Topuria in that fight. But I think it's because maybe Topuria took him down so many times, and maybe he got a few rabbit shots in. That's wrong, probably. But I mean, in his other fights, he outlanded everyone comfortably, and he took people down. He does have decent takedowns, and he's got, from what I saw, he's got pretty good BJJ defense because Topuria had him in some trouble, and he wasn't tapping. I'm not sure if that's. I mean, you know more about BJJ than I do. I'm not sure if that's just pure toughness or if that was good defense. Some of it looked like good defense to me. Some of it, I think, was just sheer grit. He didn't want to give up. But I think a lot of people would have tapped.
Yeah. I mean, if I recall correctly, he's got a ground game.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a ground game. He
He's got
can
a
take
ground
people
game.
down, and
Yeah.
he's submitted people before outside of the UFC, not
Yeah.
in the UFC. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he
And
took Austin Lingo down 6 times.
yeah, and he went for 2 subs against Austin Lingo. He went for 3 against Barrett, so he does go for subs. So he's got a ground game. But yeah, I think that's his style. Yeah, he's got switch stance. He's young, 24, still learning. I think he's a good prospect, but he's got a bit to work on, particularly striking. He needs to throw more combos. He needs to mix it up more. You can't just be doing that, and you can do that and beat the lower guys. But as you said, if you run into someone like Toporia's probably going to be top 15. Let's be honest. Very, very likely he's going to be top 15.
He could be,
yeah. If you run into someone like that, you're going to get beaten.
Yeah.
So I think your assessment was pretty spot on there. It's been very active as well, which is a good thing.
It is.
Yeah.
So I think one of the key themes there is inexperience. Maybe there's something to work with, but the theme there is inexperience. But arguably, more inexperienced is his opponent. He's 26. He's a little bit older, but there's some shortcomings with his game as well. I mean, his striking, he looks like a Muay Thai guy. He looks like he's got decent kicks. His striking, it just doesn't seem to throw a lot. It doesn't seem to land a lot. I know he's got in his most recent fight, he outlanded the guy by a factor of 3-1. But typically, he's getting outstruck. He just doesn't seem to have that hustle where he's throwing volume, which is a shame because he's a very tall, long guy. And he seems like he hasn't quite figured out that, he just needs to be punching that jab constantly, throwing the kicks, keep his opponent, at the end of his jab, basically. He hasn't figured out how to do that. That could just be experience. Maybe that'll come with time. But as it stands now, to me, his striking seems pretty weak. And he seems pretty slow as well.
His striking definitely looks Muay Thai-ish. And he doesn't have any lateral movement as well. He goes in a straight line when he's striking. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I didn't watch the 2 fights, Gavin Tucker and Movza Evloev, but I'm just guessing that he got grapple fucked in both of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But 100%. I mean, Evloev, when you took him down 5 times, kept him there for much of the round, for much of the fight. And his game just didn't get going on the feet at all. Just didn't get going whatsoever. Same thing with Gavin Tucker. Gavin Tucker's another good grappler. Took him down. I mean, to be fair to... Actually, I was going to say Choi managed to survive both fights, but he didn't. He got rear naked choked by Gavin Tucker in that second fight.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, both of these guys are good grapplers. I mean, you could arguably say very good grapplers. So maybe we're not seeing... Maybe it's difficult to get an accurate picture of how good Choi's grappling is. Maybe it's a bit better than was illustrated in those 2 fights.
Well, Evloev is an elite grappler, I'd argue. As in, his BJJ is not great, which is a major element of grappling, so I probably shouldn't say elite, but his wrestling and his reversals and stuff are just, it's a different league.
Yeah.
Mobza, but... Yeah, against Mukhtarian, he did a lot better. Mukhtarian's not particularly a good fighter. But I think that's the key question here, right? Of our assessment of both fighters is, can Zalal mix it up and get him down? Because if he can, then he's going to cause a lot of problems for Choi. And on the feet, Choi lands more than him statistically. Not by much, but lands more than him. Actually, that's a question I want to ask you. If it was just stand up, who do you think would win?
I think you'd have to give it to Zalal, just because I think he would land more. Basically, just that jab over and over again.
And he's got better movement, right? He circles the ring quite well. He doesn't stand it. Yeah.
I think the speed advantage lies with Zalal. So I can see Zalal just popping that jab over and over again.
And we're saying that, and you agreed that he's the better rounded fighter as well in terms of takedowns and stuff.
Based on the evidence that we've seen in the UFC,
So far, yeah.
yes. I mean, he got all those takedowns against Austin Lingo, and Choi has just been
Took them
grappling.
Topuria ones as well, which is quite a big deal.
Yeah, that's something.
Taking down a Greco-Roman wrestler.
That's definitely something.
Yeah.
But the thing is with Choi, I mean, when you're fighting guys like Gavin Tucker and Moswell Evloev, it's still a question mark.
Yeah.
But I think we have to assume that the grappling edge lies with Zalal.
Yeah. The grappling, I think, definitely lies with Zalal. With the striking, I don't think Choi's striking is bad, but there are definitely holes there, as Kevin Lee would say. The same can be said about Zalal, but I think going on to predictions, I think Zalal wins this 60-65% of the time. I think he should be winning this.
Yeah, I think so too.
Depends on the odds on how I bet on this. I'm not really sure if this is. It's probably verging on safe come territory for me, actually.
I'm not quite so sure. So a lot of this comes down. So this fight comes down to two things. Can Zalal get Choi to the ground? If he can multiple times, then he wins. Ignoring that, putting that to one side, can Zalal outland Choi? If he can, then he wins.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you look at the striking stats and the differentials, we can't put too much faith in those. I don't think, because Choi has faced only grapplers so far, apart from Mokhtarian. So it's difficult to gauge how much he would land against another striker. But then, I mean, because technically, Choi has the higher output than Zalal.
Yeah, he's got the higher output.
But then that's skewed by his most recent fight with Suman Mokhtarian, who is a very poor fighter, at least at this.
Yeah.
I mean, Suman Mokhtarian is not a good fighter.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If Zalal is pressuring you and faking he doesn't even need to go for the takedown, but if he's faking the takedown, given this guy's record, faking the takedown, coming up top, circling him and so on, and maybe getting a takedown and then getting back up again, actually applying his whole game, I think you could give him serious problems.
Yes.
I think he can take him down at some point.
I think so too, on balance, yeah. The problem is if he doesn't do that, I can kind of see Choi maybe stealing a split decision win if he just throws, if he manages to land just a bit.
He is taller as well.
It could be one of these fights where they're just kind of, they're not really hurting each other. There's kind of landing jabs, and it's one of those boring fights that could go either way.
Yeah, they don't really finish people, these two.
No. Yeah, so on balance, I would probably put this 60-40 to
the risky.
It's probably risky come territory for me.
Yeah. What are the odds of on this? I'm assuming Zalal is probably the slight favorite here. I think probably not slight, actually. Maybe like minus 200-ish.
Zalal's got to be the favorite. I would suspect. Yeah. So you're saying minus 200?
Yeah, maybe minus 180 or something.
I feel as though the odds makers could make this a lot higher in favor of Zalal, maybe like minus 400, minus 350.
Oh, fuck that. I'm not going to bet on it if it's that high.
Okay, let me convert these odds.
Well, hopefully they don't, because Topuria fucked him up. Well, not fuck. Well, yeah, he did fuck him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying minus 200 for Zalal?
Yeah, I think.
Well, minus 250.
Still
not too bad.
Not too bad, yeah.
And what's his name? Choi. is +175.
+175. Okay. And what are the odds for this to go to decision? That must be pretty shit.
Yeah. They don't have those odds out yet. But over 1.5 rounds is -225.
Okay, that's fine. Well, what do you think about Zalal's BJJ?
I don't know.
Do you think he could submit Choi, given that Choi's been submitted before?
This is the question mark. I don't think we've seen enough of Choi's BJJ against, non-high level grapplers. And again, we've only seen. So we've seen Zalal take down Austin Lingo, but didn't submit him, and we've seen him survive against Topuria, right? He took Topuria to decision.
Took Topuria to decision, yeah.
I don't know. I know that Choi's got a ground game. Like, he's not helpless down there. He's doing the right things. He's shrimping. He's getting his knees in the way. He's trying to create distance. He obviously does jiu-jitsu. Zalal obviously does jiu-jitsu as well.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me to say who's better.
Yeah, it's a difficult question. I was just thinking what the odds would be on that. I think the odds on that would be pretty good.
What, for submission?
Yeah, Zalal by submission. I was just thinking, how likely is that? But he hasn't really submitted many people. I think a few outside of the UFC. But
yeah, I mean, for me, this isn't screaming out to me as a great bet. I'm not confident in Zalal. I'm saying, yeah, Zalal will probably win, but I'm not massively confident in him.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to, like I said before, like maybe 60-40, 65-30 for 60-40 for Zalal, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
65 maybe. Yeah, somewhere around that region. Yeah.
So for the risky come, I mean, it probably makes sense for the risky come.
Yeah, it makes sense for the risky. Yeah. You
and
can't really hedge it with any. Can you hedge it with? You can hedge it with a Choi, just a Choi victory, I guess. Just a Choi win. Is it even worth it though?
+175.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, probably not.
I
think it's all right for the risky. I think Zalal should be winning this 60-65% of the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree. So for the risky come, we've got Volkov, and we've got, who was the other guy we've got?
We've got Zalal now.
Yeah, we've had someone else, didn't we?
Did we? I can't remember.
Yeah, let me have a look. Sandhagen.
Oh, Sandhagen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Sandhagen, Zalal, and Volkov for the risky.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then we'll look at some for everyone who's watching. We're going to look at some of the other fights very, very soon. I mean, there's another very, very interesting fight on this. Ferreira against Baniel Dariush. That will be serious.
Yeah, there won't be one for the come. I don't think.
No, but interesting fight to break down, I think.
Yeah, definitely good fight. They're both very good.
Very good. Yeah. Michael Johnson, Clay Guida, that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck that. Fuck those guys.
Fuck
that. But seriously, what's the point?
I think Clay Guida's had like 60 fights now or some shit. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous.
Clay Guida was good back in his day.
Yeah, he used to be good. Yeah.
Michael Johnson was good.
Yeah, he used to be good. Yeah.
He's just been, I think he's one of these people, a lot of talent, but never quite managed to
Yeah, I think
his abilities.
he had a lot of injuries too.
I mean, he's probably the only person to have actually hit Khabib with something hard. I think
I genuinely rocked him.
Yeah.
Because I think people overplayed the one. I overplayed the left that Poirier landed. I don't think that was as hard as the one that Johnson landed on Khabib. Like the one Johnson landed on Khabib genuinely rocked him as his feet stumbled.
Yeah. I don't even remember Poirier landing anything.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Khabib,
there you go. Yeah.
So we've got 3 women's fights. We'll just pretend those aren't happening.
I don't even know who these people are, to be honest. Molly McCann I've heard of. I don't know who the others are.
Yeah.
I don't know who a lot of the men are. Andre Ewell against Cody Stamann.
Yeah, that might be worth looking into.
Yeah.
I don't know a huge amount about those guys. But one fight I wanted to mention was Danilo Marquez versus Mike Rodriguez. So Danilo Marquez had I think it was his debut at some point in 2020. He fought Kardis Ibragimov in one of the shittest fights.
Oh, that guy is terrible. It's probably the worst Dagestani fighter ever.
Yes. Yeah, I think he works in IT or something, and he does MMA in his free time.
Yeah, he works for the IT department over in Eagles MMA in Dagestan, and they just thought give him a chance. Fuck it.
Yeah, probably. And they both had terrible cardio. They're obviously not training full time, because if they were, then they'd be in much better shape. But they were exhausted. So anyway, Danilo Marquez, it just shouldn't be in the UFC. And Mike Rodriguez is actually a decent fighter. So if we had a safe come, I would smash Mike Rodriguez for that.
Oh yeah, Mike Rodriguez. Who did he fight? And the guy got lucky and beat him. I can't remember now.
He was that big blonde guy. So Mike Rodriguez actually, it seemed as though he'd actually won the fight. Then the referee said, "Oh, you need him in the balls or something." And then the other guy came on.
Sam Alves? Or am I thinking someone else?
Yeah, it could be Sam Alves. Let me look this up.
I may be wrong. But I remember it was quite a controversial decision.
Yeah, but like the main thing here is that Mike Rodriguez is actually a decent MMA fighter. And
yeah, he's not
Marquez
bad.
is garbage. God. I mean, no offense to Danilo Marquez, but you know. Anyway, so the guy Mike Rodriguez lost to was Ed Herman.
Ed Herman. Yep, Ed Herman, the ginger guy.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay, yeah, we'll cover these fights soon. We need to fight something for the safe come. And although Ferreira against Dariush is going to be an incredible fight, that is going to be a hard one to bet on.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cody Stamann to beat Andre Ewell, that might be a contender for the safe come, along with Mike Rodriguez.
Yeah, we'll break those down. What day is it today?
Monday.
Oh, it's Monday. Okay, yeah, cool.
So we've got time.
All right. Well, that's it, I think. So, in conclusion, I think Zalal wins this 65% of the time, and he's going in the risky come for me. I was thinking safe, but Andrew talked me out of it. I can see why. To be honest, now
there are a couple of unanswered questions there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Zalal probably via decision. Put him in the risky come along with Volkov and Sandhagen. Yeah. I forgot to say by decision, but stay tuned. We'll be covering more fights very, very soon. And see you soon. Take care. Bye.